off with the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and justice for all.
Okay, we have a quorum. Start off the consent agenda. Anybody have anything they want to pull
I have
consent agenda or
a couple of changes. Meeting would have been called to order at 6:30 p.m., not 3. On page 2, under old business, it says map predestination crossing. I assume that's map pedestrian crossing.
Yeah, yes, on page
You got it.
2,
Okay.
we had to insert a word.
Perfect. Other than that, good.
Okay, I'll get those.
Okay, anything else?
I'll let you know if production case since I wasn't here.
All right. We adopt the consent agenda. Yeah, nothing else on that. I move we adopt the consent agenda. Agenda.
I will second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, we got department head reports up next, township assistants.
So for township assistance, our applications dropped a little bit for the month of February, but just by like 4. And then our spend went up a little bit. It's tax season, a lot of people are getting their tax refunds. March has been very slow for us as well, so let's fix up in the next couple weeks. It'll probably be the same.
Be the same.
Probably be the same drop. We haven't had the same drop again.
Because I was looking at where we're at year to date versus.
We have less apps, but we have spent more money. We've helped more with, of course, the cost of everything's going up, utilities, housing, all that stuff. So the money has gone up for February, but the apps went down by about 4.
Okay, so when you say March, is the dollars going to go down or the number of apps?
Probably both, because we haven't had that many apps, so we have not been helping that many people. So it'll probably be both.
Okay.
Another question, township assistants? Human resources.
We hired 4 assisted care counselors in the month of February. We also, Jessica and I have, we're going to add something to our Paylocity, our payroll system to help with recruiting and onboarding, make that a seamless process through Paylocity instead of all the paperwork that we have now currently. So we are in the process of working on that, and hopefully we'll be live by end of March.
You trouble filling positions, we're still going.
We're still struggling a little bit with the extended care, but not.
better than
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, not a lot. We did open the fire process. We've had a lot of applications there. So I think we're are in that process and how many apps we've gotten. So.
Okay.
No.
Thank you. Parks.
You're the ones that asked. Okay, so in the month of February, we were able to hire several people for our before and after care, which brought us up to a better number than we were in January. So we really only need a few more to be up at full staff, so we're excited about that. We hired our recreation coordinator, and then we have a naturalist who just accepted the position of naturalist yesterday, so we're really excited to be at full staff again. In Murphy, we are holding lifeguard recertifications right now. Like I said, we do not have to put any advertising out there for those positions. Right now, we really only have like 1 lifeguard position open. That's it. We are working to change the admissions and concessions area to make it more ADA accessible for our current staff. For the nature center, we are clearing everything out and adding the electricity for the glow in the dark bug laboratory. And then we also moved one of the clear igloos over to PCAR to create a biodome. And so right now we're working through what exactly is going to be in the biodome, but we do have a sponsor for that, so we're really excited about it. And then our programming division is working hard on the eclipse events that we had. We met with fire, we met with Avon PD. Ryan was there as well. I've met with insurance, so we feel like we're in a really good spot for our event that we're having. At the event, we're actually selling t-shirts for that. I'm wearing the shirt right now, and these t-shirts are actually a fundraiser for our before and after school program. So a portion of the proceeds actually go towards our scholarship program for before and after school so that we can afford to let more kids in at a free and reduced rate. Then we have for youth services, our spring camp is officially completely sold out. We're working to hire a couple more counselors so we can open that up because we have about 30 people on our wait list right now. We really just need more staff to be able to open up for more kids. Our summer camp opened this month. We saw a huge surge in that, and actually the surge came predominantly from Brownsburg and Plainfield, so that was interesting to see. Usually that surge comes from Avon, but we kind of expected that due to some of the changes that have happened in those areas. And then in youth services, we unveiled a staff reward and recognition program. And so that's been received very well. It's been working successfully for the last 2 weeks. And so we are excited to kind of foster the staff that we have and continue to develop that staff. And then lastly, our maintenance division has been working hard finalizing the permitting for the new maintenance barn by the Pavilion Center. And so we should be starting on that in the next 2 weeks. And then as you guys can see in our revenue is tracking very well, higher than last year. Do you guys have any questions for me?
On the after school coverage and kind of the staffing and whatnot, does it create a wait list due to that? Or we, once it
No.
gets that, okay, so you're
No.
covering it with what you
So I'm at the point where I have not advertised for before and aftercare because I'm at the bare minimum of staffing. So I have enough to cover what I'm at right now. I would like to just continue to hire and hire and hire. We've been working with Jessica. We had our administrative assistant kind of pinpoint different career fairs we could go to, job fairs. We've already been to 3 different career fairs. We post each month, we repost on Indeed, and that's a paid post as well. So we're trying. Usually when we repost that on Indeed, we get about 4 or 5 more applications. It's just keeping them there. It's a tough schedule. It really is. It's not for everybody. So I think that's just going to be one of those positions. We're just similar to event staff. We're just going to continue to hire for that. And we're never going to stop hiring for that because I'd like to get to a point where I can actually start advertising for it in the schools and then outside of the schools. Any other questions?
I will make a note. I just really like the new format. I especially like, at the bottom, like the picture of who's in charge, because we don't get to meet these people always. And so it just kind of put faces to names. And it just, very nice.
Good, thank you. Yeah, Ryan told us at the beginning of the year, it's your board report. If you want to change it, do whatever you think the board wants to see. And so we kind of had a lot of fun, Karen and I, decorating that and redesigning it. And it works really well. And the staff loves that they get to be highlighted because I felt like a lot of the staff didn't get to be highlighted.
Yep, I like it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Fire.
I'm going to apologize, but ours isn't as fancy. If I asked our guys to decorate ours, it would be handwritten. Maybe in person. One of you guys write in person? Yeah. We'd have Jason do that. Ours is this data, right? It's information in words. So to start off, February, we discussed further with engineering and architecture, Station 143's remodel. We also looked at the build plans for Station 145, as those are the top 2 things that are priority on the list. We've kicked off Ladder 141, which has been under contract for a while. The build committee went down to Orlando and squared away what that ladder is going to look like, the compartments and so on and so forth on the layout. So that's underway at the moment. They all just came back just a couple weeks ago, right? So the emergency action plan Laura alluded to, we have that going on right now with the upcoming eclipse. In the middle of the month, we celebrate our employees with the 2023 awards banquet. With that, you have for Esprit de Corps awards, we had 140 guests, by the way, and we had over 40 award nominations, close to 50. So really appreciate the participation of everybody in this room, and I appreciate them coming to these meetings as well, even though today I did ask them to. But no, the attendance and the awards were good. I mean, there's potential as we hire that we outgrow the space we're in, and we were probably about 20, 30 people away from that this year. For Esprit de Corps, though, Jordan Basor, Boaz Frederickson, and Matt Sheets. Awards of Merit, Robert Phipps, Jason Porter. Jason hasn't received his yet, but he was aware of it. EMS Provider of the Year was firefighter Monica Bills. Eric Lineroad, Paramedic of the Year was paramedic Kendall Reimer. Firefighter of the Year is in the room, chauffeur DJ Wilson. And as Officer of the Year was Lieutenant Joe Kaufman. We had multiple unit accommodations and years of service awards. Another honoree that's in the room that was honored at the banquet, Doug Dickerson. He's our first employee to reach 30 years of service at the department. So quick round of applause for Doug. At the end of the meeting, there's a couple of these things I'd like to revisit as well. So we'll do that during public comment. As far as the departments, EMS crews renewed CPR certifications. We changed how that looked. We went more electronic, did things online. It keeps people in service. There's a lot of things we need to do. You see the electronics in here. Ashley has been meeting with Toucan, myself, Phipps, Porter, trying to modernize this. You know, I'm loud, but it doesn't mean everybody in the room can always hear what everybody else is saying, especially in other meetings we might have. We're looking at what the AV is going to look like and things like that. And there's been some good conversations on what we want for this room. We need to reflect the community, right? There's a lot of things that we have potential for that we need to realize. But the EMS doing that online is one of the things that help keep crews on station more. We need to do a better job with our technology of doing that for some basic trainings, and we're going to keep working toward that. And this is one of the things that will help us with that. But again, the online portion required less out of service time, less people away from the responding area. Also at EMS, we had 2 new civilian medics join the township, Cecilia Mencias and Garrett Seymour. So they started just after December and January, and we have a few more right now that are being interviewed. That'll fill up all of our spots. As Ashley alluded to, we have a hiring process going on now for new hires and laterals, and continuing with paramedics. The reason we continue with paramedics is we know people are better than themselves in our organization. There's people going to nursing school. As they realize that, there's always potential people leave for a different type of employment when you do that. You don't waste your money on education. So we want to be prepared. So that'll stay open perpetually. As far as the new hire process, we're pushing about 80 applicants already in the first week and a half. On the lateral process, we're probably just over half a dozen, I would say, between 6 and 10 right now, I think. So again, that's what we assumed. And that's just to replace a couple of people that left and keep us at that 30 mark. I said I want to be at 31, but we have a couple of people on sick leave for different reasons. We don't know how long they're going to be off, so we're going to replace those positions prematurely. But we will have a list to be able to do it should we need to. Public educator. Give you guys a letter at the start of the meeting. That came out on February 19th. This is referring to Project Lifesaver. We had a citizen reach out. This man was very convicted in his efforts. Said he's reaching out to express his deepest gratitude for the kindness and support you've shown towards my mother, who has Alzheimer's. Your assistance in enrolling her in the fire department tracking program for her safety has been invaluable and deeply appreciated. Your compassion, patience, and dedication in helping my mother navigate through this challenging time have made a significant difference in our lives. Your willingness to go the extra mile to ensure my mother's well-being speaks volumes about your commitment to serving the community. Your act of kindness has not gone unnoticed. I'm grateful for your exceptional care and support. Thanks for making a positive impact for our family during this time. With sincere appreciation, Bill Hendricks. Mr. Hendricks reached out a couple of times in person. He was reaching out to Courtney Lee and the things that she's been doing. So as you go through the public educator keys for the month, and you see what contacts we've had with CPR checkoffs, preschool, station tours, car seat installs, and all that. I mean, that's our crews doing that too, especially the station tours. Sometimes those can take a toll. You know, they don't always hit at the best time, but we got to work around people's lives. They want to come out. We want to keep people engaged. And that's what we're working on doing. She does a good job setting those up. Our crews are always engaged with them. And I can tell you how I always used to feel about station tours, but it didn't matter how we felt. It's about what we're supposed to do, right? It means I had to get up out of my recliner in the evening. And I didn't want to do that unless it was a run. No, but anyway, she was also the one of the primary people, along with Jessica Ingram, in planning the 2023 awards banquet. And, they've been tasked with that every year. And we told them that this is not your event plan. We'll all be a hands-on approach with our staff. And I appreciate everybody else that stepped up to go over and help out. But those two did all of the logistics, planning, decorations, ordering everything, and making that happen for us. Along the lines of Project Lifesaver. Courtney's been out with Chief Nugent from the police department. They trained the Brownsburg school officers on battery changes. That's out of our district, but again, that keeps other people in the community doing their job, so it's not always on one person. And right now, it's been a lot, and the Project Lifesaver is not the primary objective of that position. So getting other people trained to do the job is ideal for us. PIO duties, you guys can read that, but one of the things that she did is she just finished up with Wayne Township today. That was actually right out today with Eric Bannister, their PIO, and we'll be at IFB with Rita, I think next week, in the next week or two. On run, as you go to the next page, right now we're at 1,326 year to date. That puts us 218 higher than 2023. That's on the bottom of the page. But total incidents by shift, I always brag about B shift holding it down and setting the records. We're actually in last place. So I was sitting there. So it was A shift and C shift. So congratulations, A shift. You guys are holding it down this past month on runs. But yeah, it's that's always a friendly competition on who does the most runs, or was for us. But our turnout time remains competitive. Incidents, mutual aid, given and received, you asked for. 200 given, 67 received. That comes with the territory and our location. However, as you look down at the bottom of the page where it says incidents year to date, Medic 142 had 324 runs. If you look at the other medics and engines and even the ladder goes on almost everything, which is not ideal, and we'll be working on that in the coming year to fix that. But the medics at 324 runs over on our east area. So they're far outrunning everyone else. Now, that's probably to do with some of the recent changes at Wayne Township, but we'll continue to monitor that. I don't know what that's going to mean for us, but that's one of the reasons as we look at the feasibility studies, which we do partially have back, not exactly what we were looking for, but we'll get that fixed really quick. But as we look at feasibility of remodel versus rebuild or relocate, that's something we need to consider on that side of town. We'll still be able to cover our residents, but we need to look at that. Anyway, yeah, we're up 218 runs already. So again, last year we were at 8,100. We're looking already moving well beyond that. And again, that's the importance of growing, hiring, putting other apparatus in service, and building stations and being prepared for the growth instead of trying to catch up with it. Go to the last page, fire investigations. Again, inspections, fire inspections, plan reviews, site reviews, 202 units. For me, that's at least the last 5-year high. So we did add a person. We always want to make sure we have a value add. Anytime you add to a division, that's a value add. They have a plan that they put together. Tom Green and Tony Smith, they work together to decide what it's going to look like. Tom laid it all out. He's got his part. Tony's got his. They're out doing what they need to do. Levi's keeping his oversight on the division and keeping his input, but he's working with PD. He's doing the things he should do. He's out being the person doing the plan reviews and working with new construction and so on and so forth. And anytime they have an issue, it's obviously the authority that has to address it. So the division's working as it should. They have a plan to get through all of the businesses, and that's where we're really good. We're getting into the high life occupancies, assisted living, schools, all that, really getting things done that need done. There's also a next level plan to that through public education, where they'll bring Courtney in, and as they talk to them, if they need to educate those facilities instead of going out educating schools and so on and so forth, we'll start educating the facility on what they can do better to keep people safe. And as they get new maintenance people in and all that, we'll put a program together over time that will educate that turnover. So as they turn them over, so we're not running on alarms as frequently and addressing the things that can sometimes be a nuisance to the fire department and take away from other things we should be doing. Again, that's a long-term plan. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, but they're working. Division notes. We used to look at a lot of money, $50,000 to $90,000 coming in for the fire prevention division. They're only at $940 so far. We can't generate that revenue. We can't make that. You can't make people build. We can't get big warehouses that pay a lot of money to us. So keep that in mind. That revenue is something that does supplement the budget, but it's not something we can count on right now. Fire investigations conducted. by fire investigators in Putnam County in 2023 resulted in a successful prosecution. Again, the respect we have in our fire investigations unit around the county and beyond is something to be proud of. Levi and Tom have really built that. Adding Tony and putting Courtney underneath them is going to make it even better. Really appreciate what that group's doing. And again, getting that conviction gives them their credibility and respect with the prosecutor's office, the law enforcement officials, and it makes them a go-to. Not to the point where it's going to take away from them serving our community, but to the point where they are somebody that people call whenever they questions or need solutions and a proper investigation. So they do a good job on that. As far as recent trainings, we just did another big one over at the training ground. That's not in your packet. We just did that this month. It'll be more next month when we talk about that. But we're bringing people over at an exponential rate in their trainings. And I know I've invited you guys at times. I think you've shown up. You've sent representatives before from the ICON. Yeah. So the reason I want you to come out, I mean, it's our prosecutor's office, crime scene investigators from each law enforcement agency, representatives from each department, and we're truly training the county with what we've looked at the training ground. So it is an asset. It's an asset not only in our county, it's going to be an asset that now is reaching statewide. Indianapolis is calling about an opportunity to maybe come over and participate, not run the training, but come to our training. And that's the kind of stuff we want. We want to bring people here. We want to be the biggest flagship we can be. And that's the same thing we're doing in our hiring process as I close. On Monday, we have an event that's been posted on social media. It's at the Indianapolis Black Firefighters Association on 40th Street. If you guys want to come, it's great. It's for all people. But the big part is showing applicants and potential applicants that we're still going to secure throughout the rest of this process, that we support the direction the department's going and we support the direction the community's going. There's a lot of stigma in Hendricks County. We got to get rid of that. So we're looking at the city. We're reaching out to Vincennes and their fire program to post our process. We already have a couple applicants from there. Chief Porter will reach out to Ivy Tech, and we're going to start reaching out to places beyond what we normally do and just throwing it on Facebook and looking inside our own community. We have a lot of familiar names that have applied. And again, what I told them is compete. You know, I got a cousin that applied. He's got a son that applied. We got nephews and sons of people in the back of the room that have applied. And that's great. But they get no preferential treatment. You either compete and succeed or you don't get on. And we're going to hold to that. Scores, there'll be pedaling scores. There's winners and losers and everything. And we're going to stay by them. So we'll make sure there's credibility in our process. But we've had a good turnout. We're excited about that. Any questions?
I would just be remiss if I didn't say thank you. I'm sure everyone in this room knows my drama. I adopted a dog, and within an hour of her arriving at my home, she ran away. 3 hours later, fast forward, I find her down in the ravine, and my friend decides to jump down in the ravine after her. So it was me, and I knew about an hour jumping down into that ravine that I was going to have to call you guys to come to my rescue. So it's one thing to have all this on paper and we read things and you tell us things, but to actually be on the receiving end of it, I just can't say how much I appreciate everyone. Everybody had such a level head, kept me, in good spirits, laughing, because I didn't realize that I was freaking out until she finally got back up. And Porter, how far down was she?
About 75.
Yeah. Okay, so I've learned a lot of life lessons from this. Not all of them I will repeat. But first of all, you should always look cute because you never know when somebody's going to need to come to your rescue on a Sunday at 11 p.m. And I'll keep some of the other ones to myself. But they're like, "Where is she?" And I'm just like, "She's down there." I don't know. And they all look down and they're like, "Oh my God." So thank you. Thank you for all of the help. Thank you for just everybody being level-headed and for taking care of my friend.
And it is a shift. This was the shift.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I will say too, in the conversation we have preceding the call, it's my friend's down the door. Okay, we'll get somebody. No problem.
I was
And I
very
can hear
calm.
both of them talking 70 feet away, not on the phone call. So yeah, I was just, do you have a hat? No, I don't have a hat. Oh my God, we gotta get a hat on. Do I have to call 911? Get some man.
Listen. I really wanted no lights. It was very clear. There was a lot of lights.
Yeah, we drew all the attention to it, but
All
no.
the attention. But from the bottom of my heart, you saved my friend's life. I was panicked that one of those boulders if one of those things had shifted, somebody had broken up a driveway and thrown it down this ravine to help with erosion. And I just kept thinking, if one of those shifts, she's dead. Forget the dog. I don't care about I love the dog, but and let's not forget that we lost the dog the first time coming up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when did you get the note?
I got it. I had it for an hour. Thank you all.
That's a wonderful story.
It all ended well, very heroic. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I will bring you Starbucks, whatever you need, McDonald's.
All right. I have so many questions right now.
No, you do.
I have a whole story, don't worry, a lot of video.
Gotcha. Okay. Trustee report. Yeah, moving on.
So yeah, I've got 3 areas that I highlighted for my report this month for you. The first one, talking about the fire department's awards banquet. I've already said it a couple different times. For the parks department as well as for the fire department, we've got so many great employees that work for us and do so many things, and a lot of it doesn't ever get seen or heard about. Some of it makes it to Facebook, some of it doesn't. Every day, our staff is out there just nailing it. And so to be able to attend, to get invited to the awards banquet was fantastic. Certainly appreciate that opportunity to be there. It was a fun night, so really enjoyed that. So want to make sure that I express my appreciation to the chief and your staff for putting on that event. I think that's great. And again, the opportunity to kind of highlight some of our people and the best of the work that they're doing. Really appreciate that opportunity for them. On to my next item, the Communication Center Advisory Board. Ironically, our very first meeting was yesterday. I was able to attend. And so this is a position that when in 2007, 2009, whenever it was that they switched to the countywide dispatching communication center, all of the funds for that communication center comes from Hendricks County taxpayers, and from the state of Indiana kicks in some as well. So in order to make sure that we have the taxation with representation, they have an advisory board that is put together that is representative of township trustees, town council members, town managers, larger towns, small towns. Everything is defined so that everybody has a voice on that board throughout the county, no matter where you live. I did find out just recently that advisory board existed. Not only did I find out about that, I found out that the township trustees position has been vacant for several years. And I was asked to fill that role because 1, they needed a trustee, and then 2, they thought with my experience in public safety that would be a good fit for that. So I needed a consensus from the other township trustees around the county. Fun fact, there is no place that I can go to get a list of the contact information for the Hendricks County trustees. I can find all of their names. To get contact information wasn't quite as easy. I am happy to report that I was able to get consensus from the other township trustees throughout the county, and I'm now sitting on that advisory board, and I look forward to working with them into the future as well. The last one, as we talked about, our fire investigations division. These guys, again, best of the best. They are setting the bar in a lot of different ways throughout the county. The specific policies that I'm referring in here talks about an uglier side of public safety that we wish we didn't have to deal with, but we live in a scary, crazy world sometimes, and we have to make sure that we are protecting our staff to the best of our abilities. Much like the school corporations who are having their own police departments, now the hospitals that are looking at their own police departments as well, we have to provide protection for our investigations division, because there are opportunities where they are in close proximity with potentially people who have just finished committing a crime. And so the policies that we've been working on, we've been working very closely with the county sheriff and Avon police chief. So I certainly want to express my appreciation to both of them. But we have been months, nearly a year now, working on this, because these policies have to be right, and we have to make sure that we're doing this the right way. And this is not something we are rushing into, but we have gotten to the point where I've signed off on the policies to allow our investigators with these certain parameters to be allowed to carry firearms while on duty, while working in their positions as an investigator for the fire department. This is something that Avon did an eternity ago. They got away from it. We're getting back to that. And again, just every day in the news, we can look at a multitude of reasons why. I wish it wasn't the case, but that is the world that we live in. And so again, we are setting that bar. But if you look at the individuals that we have in our investigations division and really the training and the relationships and the background of those individuals, we're checking all the boxes that need to be checked. And I'm confident that this is a good decision for us moving forward. So that's all I've got for you, unless you have any questions.
Okay, thank you. We do not have any old business, new business, just one item up, the conflict of interest declaration for Mark Miller.
Mark Miller does backflow testing for us. He is also one of the firefighters here that works for our fire department. So in an attempt just to make sure that we have everything disclosed that should be disclosed, this conflict of interest was filled out. Again, just to, there's nothing hiding in the corners, just trying to be transparent with everything and to make sure that all the proper relationships are declared.
Okay, it doesn't really need to vote on this, we just need to assign it.
Yeah, we're just signing off on this. Just acknowledging that we're aware of that.
Thank you. Okay. Last up we have is public comment and wishes to be heard.
So, the reason I wanted our crews here, at the awards banquet, like I mentioned in our, set this on your computer. Like I mentioned in our talk, we had a couple of awards that were not given out, and at this time, I'd like to bring Doug Hickerson and staff up. You guys come up here with me as well. So 30 years is huge, especially when you're the first one in the department to reach it on a full-time basis. So couldn't find a nicer guy to do that, right? Presented to that. Yeah, we've got a living legend. So there are people that are out there on the retiree board that didn't have 30 years in, right? So getting 30 years in the fire service is rare. I mean, our pension lets us leave at 20 years and 52 years of age. I mean, you see both of those. I do. Thanks. At the awards banquet, we recognize people with 20 years. We recognize people with 15, 10, 5, 1. It's not every day you get people with 30 years. People go out with an odd number in the 20s, but not every day you see people go out with 30 years, let alone go out with 30 years and still have to help. So congratulations to that, man. Glad to have you here. Yeah, Courtney, you come on up.
I'm taking pictures. It's important.
Sure.
Yeah, they want all of you in here.
Everybody on.
Inside, go, it's all good. You can fix everything, right? The slimming filter.
Photoshop all of that.
Jason and Bob, you guys don't go anywhere. The last one I want to give is to Chief Porter. So at the awards banquet, I gave both chiefs the awards of merit. There's a lot of things that have gone on in this last calendar year, you know, and we had a lot of people nominated for awards that were fitting. Whenever I sat and looked at everybody on our staff, there's a thing that stands out to me is it's hard to match an energy of some people, and there's a lot of times I just don't have an off switch. You know, I know when I came over here, they said, hey, you know, when the chief comes in, he doesn't always talk to us when he comes in the firehouse. I think now what they do is go, oh my God, the chief's here. Now we're going to be talking for the next few hours. But again, it's about recognizing and acknowledging people. And whenever we're in the office, the work doesn't stop. So whenever we go out of the office, hey, how you doing? We're all engaged. But in the office, there's a lot that has to happen. And I look around the county, I look around the state, I see fire chiefs that are in and out by 3 p.m. that are putting in 6 and 7 hour days. I don't get it. And I can assure you we don't do that. And to that end, I'm in a position professionally that I can do that. My kids are grown, my wife gets it. She knew what I did before I came in the fire service. That's why I left it. Now she knows what I'm doing while I'm in the fire service and why I was willing to take this position, why I wanted to take this position. I don't know that those guys knew what was coming. I know with Chief Phipps, we worked together in the union. He understood that. Chief Porter had been in here holding things down for the last handful of years for whatever reason. But he had a lot of passion, and recognizing people was one of the big ones. I will say that. The cards, the knowing people's birthdays, spouses' birthdays, kids' birthdays, celebrating years of service, that's a big thing that's important to him. And I think all of you would agree with that. But at the same time, the passion for the job is big. And that can sometimes take away from family. And the hours I put in, the hours that I call them, the hours that we keep having a thought, random thought that pops up, you know, I really appreciate that. I know it can be rough. So, congrats. He Phipps already got his.
It's like, do you want like a?
Yeah, we can shoot it with the bottom up.
So you're just go high.
That's all my chins look big.
Beautiful.
Appreciate it. Man, no worries at all. Thank you. Yeah, I do appreciate you guys. Put in a lot of energy.
All right. Here. All right. We just need then a motion to.
I will make a motion to adjourn at 3:37 p.m.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We are adjourned.